It's summertime for the Blue Jackets, but a lot of their prospects are still in postseason play. Today, we are going to check in on the second round of the CHL playoffs, see who's doing well, who's doing not so well, and who could go the distance. We'll do all of that on today's Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to bring you news, stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen today, every day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms and also over on YouTube. Like and subscribe to get notified when new episodes land in your feed. Before we get started, I also want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. Make every moment more and visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. So we're talking today about playoffs. I know the Blue Jackets are not in the playoffs, but there are still, I believe, 5 Blue Jackets prospects that are in play over the CHL playoffs, the OHL, the WHL, and the QMJHL. So I thought today we would take a quick look at how those guys are doing. In a perfect world, I wanted to talk about the Cleveland Monsters in the playoffs, but that did not happen. They were eliminated at the weekend. The Laval Rocket, I believe, will be going to the playoffs instead of them, which I guess better them than Belleville, right? But let's jump right into it. Let's start off with the OHL. There's only one player left in the OHL for the Blue Jackets. Cameron Butler's Oshawa Generals were knocked out in 5 games versus the Ottawa 67s, but Luca Del Bel Belluz is still alive with the Sarnia Sting. They are up 2-0 on the series, and Luca Del Bel Belluz seems to be having a pretty good postseason. He is currently sitting on 9 points in 8 games for the Sting. That's pretty good in my opinion. He is 18th in scoring on Elite Prospect, but there's a bunch of guys that are kind of tied with 11 and 10 and 9 points. So, if we try and very quickly do the math, I believe he is tied for 4, 5, 6, 7, tied for 8th in playoff scoring. He's tied for 3rd on the team in scoring. And I believe the 2 guys that are beating him are, in fact, his line mates. So that's always fun. 4 goals, 5 assists. And like I said, Sarnia is up 2-0 on the Saginaw Spirit. Their next game is going to be tonight. And we'll see how it goes. Like I said, Luca Del Bel Belluz doing well for himself, and I believe he scored the game-winning goal in game 2. He did in fact score the game winner. It was 2-1 in overtime. Luca Del Bel Belluz scores his 4th of the series, 4th of the playoffs on the power play, game-winning goal in overtime. You love to see it. For the first game, it was a 3-0 win for Sarnia also, and Luca Del Bel Belluz did not score a goal, but did appear on the score sheet. He had an assist on the 3-0 goal. So 2 points, 2 games. It'll be interesting to see what happens in game 3 tonight. I think it'd be a mistake to underestimate Saginaw, but Sarnia is looking pretty strong. They might be my pick to come out of the Western Conference of the OHL. The bracket is backwards here, but Luca Del Bel Belluz having an extremely strong playoff run. And since there's nowhere really for him to go once it's over, he might as well go all the way. Like I said, he is the only Blue Jackets prospect that is still in play in the OHL. If he and Sania win this series, they will face the winner of the Kitchener Rangers and the London Knights. The Knights are currently up 2-1 in that series. They have got game 4 tonight as well. So it could be London taking a stranglehold on that series. It could be Kitchener catching up. But it looks, unless Sania completely falls apart, I think it's a pretty good likelihood that they will be making it to the third round. Saginaw played well against Flint. They ended up, I believe they had a 3-1 lead and then almost blew it, ended up winning game 7 against Flint. So strange things happened, but I am willing to put a non-zero amount of money down on Sania winning that series. And you know where I could put my money on this series? It's FanDuel. Let's talk about FanDuel. They are America's #1 sportsbook. Grand slams, no-hitters, double plays are back. Baseball is in full swing, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet of up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, sign up, place your first bet up to $1,000. And if you don't win, you get that money back in bonus bets. You could bet on baseball, or you could do like me and bet on major junior Canadian hockey and see what happens. I feel pretty good about Sania's chances, so don't miss your chance to get a no sweat first bet of up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. Once again, FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the Major League Baseball, and also us, the Locked On Podcast Network. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. Everydayers, stay tuned. There's going to be a second episode today where we are going to talk all about the Blue Jackets' no good, very bad, terrible, horrible season, and whether there were some bright spots in it. So stay tuned for that later today. But let's move on from the OHL and let's go over to the WHL. The Moose Jaw Warriors are tied in their series. They have both Denton Mateychuk and Martin Rysavy on their roster. One of those guys had a pretty good first round. The other one was okay, but I think could be better. So let's take a look in on how they are doing. They lost game 1 against the Winnipeg Ice. They won game 2. Both games were 5-3 final scores, which is very funny. Let's talk about how Denton Mateychuk is doing. He had 1 assist in the win against the Ice, and then in the loss to open the game, or to open the series, he did not feature on the score sheet. Martin Rysavy did, however, feature in that loss. He had 1 secondary assist. So both players have showed up in the game so far. I would like to see more from both of them. I would especially like to see more from Denton Mateychuk, who had 65 points in 63 games in the regular season. He's got 4 points in 6 games so far in these playoffs, which is, frankly, I think he can do a lot better. He's currently sitting all the way down 73rd in WHL playoff scoring. He is being outscored by Martin Rysavy, who has 7 points in 6 games, 3 goals, 4 assists. Rysavy had kind of a quieter regular season than Mateychuk, which is to be expected. Former 7th round pick of the Blue Jackets, currently unsigned, but I would imagine he'll be signing his ELC off the back of this playoff run and going to Cleveland next season. 7 points in 6 games so far in the playoffs, 33 in 47 games for Moose Jaw in the regular season. So they've kind of flip-flopped a little bit. I would like to see more out of both of them. I especially would like to see more out of Mateychuk. We've seen this season that he can be a real force of nature. He, I believe, was like, in terms of scoring on the team, if he didn't lead the team, I believe he went very, very close. I've lost my I have lost my list of, there it is. He was fifth in scoring on this team. He led all defensemen on Moose Jaw. Like I said, 65 points, 63 games, only 8 goals, 57 assists, which I believe it did indeed lead the entire team, which is pretty impressive when you consider, you guys like Braden Yeager, who's going to be drafted this season, Jagger Furcus, who had 88 points in 66 games, just a real blowout season from him. I'm looking for more from Mateychuk in these playoffs. There's still a lot of hockey to be played. A 1-1 series is not by any means over for either team. They've got game 3 tonight as well. So hopefully Moose Jaw can pull out the win. And if they don't pull out the win, at least hopefully Mateychuk can find his footing a little more. Because if Moose Jaw is going to be successful in the playoffs, they need Mateychuk to show up. You need your number one defenseman. You need your captain to show up. And he's a +5 on the playoffs. Excuse me, that is incorrect. He was +5 this season, the regular season. He is. He is +5 in the playoffs right now. So he's doing it looks like he's starting to do the right things. He's just not showing up on the score sheet. I would like him to show up on the score sheet a little bit more. And I have faith that he will do that. I don't know that I have as much faith in the Moose Jaw Warriors to go as far as I have faith in Sarnia Sting, but we'll see. I've been wrong before, so we'll keep an eye on that series. We'll bring you updates later on. In a minute, we are going over to the QMJHL, which might be the most exciting of the series, just because of I find the QMJHL exciting. Like, leave me alone. So we're going to talk about James Malatesta, and we're going to talk about Jordan Dumais. First, I've got to tell you all about Athletic Greens, because I've been taking Athletic Greens for over a year now. They sent me a free sample, which is really cool, and I liked it so much I've spent my own money on it, which I feel like is speaks for itself. I was tired all the time. I was getting sick all the time. I wanted better gut health, more energy. I hated taking like 17 different pills every morning, and AG1 has fixed all of those problems for me. It's 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. It supports gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, aging. It's just one scoop in a cup of water. That's it. You can reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. You don't need a million different pills or supplements to look out for your health. And to make it even easier, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Once again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Okay, let's finish off. Let's talk about the QMJHL. There's 2 different series to talk about here. One of which is the Quebec Ramparts versus the Rimouski Oceanique. Quebec is up 2-0 on Rimouski. Excuse me. They won their first game 6-3 and their second game 5-1. In terms of how CBJ prospect James Malatesta is doing, he had 1 assist in the first game, the 6-3 win against Rimouski, and in the second game, he appeared on the score sheet. He has scored 2 goals, including the game winner. So first start of the game, you love to see it. James Malatesta is a player that I think is super underrated in terms of CBJ prospect. I know everyone's super excited about Dumais, who scored a bajillion points this season. They're excited about the defense. They're excited about, Svozil and Juracek and Mateychuk, but don't sleep on Malatesta, guys. Fifth round pick in 2021. He really only has one setting, and that is all. He's got 7 points in 6 games in the playoffs so far. He had 66 points in 55 games in the regular season, so he's about on pace-ish, I think, but I still feel like he has another level to get to. 3 points in those 2 games so far. Like I say, Quebec is up 2-0 on Rimouski. Makes sense. Quebec was the top seed in the opening round, and they are the top seed again here in second round. Rimouski is the 5th seed. So probably makes sense that Quebec is up 2-0 in this series. Game 3 is tonight. And again, I'm expecting Malatesta to show up big yet again. And honestly, probably earn his entry level. Well, no, he's already signed his entry level contract. Excuse me. He's going to earn his spot with the Monsters this season. He turns 20 in May next month. So this is his 4th season with Quebec. He is ready to go pro. Will he succeed? I don't know. But if you look at how he's playing in these playoffs, like, he's been one of their best players, I feel like. And that feels to me like it's earned a shot at the AHL. Could he go down to the ECHL? Sure. But I would be very surprised if he did not get a real good long look at the AHL level. Yes, he's a 5th round pick, but he's a good player. He's third on the team in scoring right now, or tied for 3rd with Nathan Gaucher, a Ducks prospect. And I still think he has another gear. So I'm super excited to see what Malatesta does. Likely, I still think that the finals is going to be Quebec versus Halifax. Like, I still feel in my heart that is where this is going, which is going to be stressful for CBJ prospect fans, but also very exciting. I feel like that's going to be a really fun series. So Quebec up 2-0 on Rimouski. Again, a 2-0 lead doesn't mean anything at this point. Teams can flip like that, but Quebec won the first game 6-3 and won the second one 5-1. I feel like Rimouski is going to have to do some serious work to crawl back into this series. I fully expect Quebec to come out of this series. In a little bit more of a surprising fashion, Halifax and Moncton are tied at the minute. Moncton won their first game 4-1. Halifax won their second game 7-1. So it sounds like Halifax figured out what they needed to do. CBJ prospect Jordan Dumais did not feature in the 4-1 loss on Friday. In the 7-1 victory on Saturday, he did not score a goal. He assisted on the 3rd goal that they scored and the 5th goal. So 2 assists for Jordan Dumais so far this series. He is 13th in league scoring, 10 points in 6 games, 2 goals, 8 assists. Again, I'd like to see some more goals from him, but he's doing just fine. I am not worried about Jordan Dumais. Like I said, 10 points, 6 games. That's a slightly slower pace than his regular season pace, which he scored like a 2-point-something points per game pace. But I'll be really, really interested to see what he does if Halifax manages to take this series. I'm not super worried about Halifax. I think between Dumais, between Alexandre Duché, between Josh Lawrence. Josh Lawrence has 16 points in 6 games for the Mooseheads. Duché has 12 in 6, So the fact that Jordan Dumais is 3rd in this team in scoring and still has 10 points in 6 games, I think speaks to how bonkers this team is. I know that having a lot of scoring on one line is not necessarily a path to success. Look at the Regina Pats, who had the top 3 playoff scorers in the first round. Connor Bedard had 20 points in 7 games, and they still lost to Saskatoon. So it's not, having 3 players that are almost on like a 2-point per game pace is not a indication of anything. They in fact have 4 players that are over a point in a game, a point and a half per game. If you add Zach Baldock in, the Blues prospect. So, or excuse me, he plays for Quebec. I have misread that massively. My point remains, though, is that the scoring is high on this team, and we've seen that by the 7-1 victory in Game 2. If they keep playing like that, then I think Moncton is going to struggle. But they've shown that Moncton can kind of stifle their scoring. You look at the first game, they scored 1 goal. They go from 1 goal to 7 goals. Like, you'd like to think that something has been worked out in between there. I think Game 3 of this series is going to be extremely interesting. And honestly, I feel like whoever wins this 3rd game is going to go on and win the series. Do I have any logic behind that? No. Their game isn't until tomorrow, so Wednesday is Game 3. All the other relevant games for CBJ fans are tonight. So if you're looking for a hockey fix tomorrow and you don't want to watch the NHL playoffs, then check out Halifax Moncton, because I feel like that's going to be a pivotal game for the playoffs over in the QMJHL. And that's kind of my roundup of how all of the players are doing. We're going to kind of do this periodically as the playoffs continue to roll on in the CHL, because let's face it, the Blue Jackets haven't done anything since their season finished beyond, firing their head coach, which is something we're going to talk about in a later episode today. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But no playoffs for the Blue Jackets, no playoffs for the Monsters. Their ECHL affiliate, I should find out actually what they are doing. The Kalamazoo Wings are their ECHL affiliate. They have not made the playoffs, I don't think. They finished the season 29 and where is it? They were 29 and 37 this season in terms of wins and losses. Not great. Extremely not good enough for the playoffs, or the what's it called? Oh, the Kelly Cup, I believe, is what it's called in the ECHL. They are. No, I was correct. Kalamazoo did not make the playoffs. So my point here is, I've gotten massively off track. My point is, no Blue Jackets playoffs, no Monsters playoffs, no ECHL affiliate playoffs. We might as well focus on the prospects that continue to play, and maybe check in on a couple of guys that could be Blue Jackets in the future. But that's kind of all I've got for right now. Like I said yesterday, I'm going to try really hard to get kind of 2 episodes a day out for the next little while. I think there's a ton of content to be had, and so we're going to talk about the Blue Jackets season in review. We're going to do the first part later today, and then we'll do a part 2 tomorrow. So we're going to focus mostly on the good parts of the season in this afternoon's episode. And so if you want to come and listen to the much shorter list of what I liked about this season, then we're going to be doing that later today. I've been Jay Foster. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find the podcast at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. Thank you for making this your first listen of the day every day. Locked On Blue Jackets continues to be free and available on all podcast platforms. We are also over on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you hit the little bell button below this video, you'll get notified when new episodes go live. If you've already done all of that, I appreciate you. If you haven't done that, I still appreciate you, but would appreciate you more if you did those things. So please feel free to do so. And until tomorrow, or until later today, make sure you stay locked on.